and welcome to X-Men, the animated series re-examined, where myself, Dan Bain, and my longtime collaborator, associate, and dear friend, Javier rewatch. Here he is. We rewatch the X-Men animated series from our childhood. We go back in time to a time where we responsibly ate cereal in the morning instead of half a piece of toast and 2 cups of coffee, and we used to sit around and watch the mutants do their fighting. And now we're doing the exact same thing as grown-ups. Do we still like it?
Babe, I've got to watch this series of X-Men, okay? It's for work.
Yeah. I got a real great opportunity.
That's right. I've got to analyze this. I do.
Gotta watch this and see if anything funny happens so I can banter about it.
I've got to get my nostalgia tingle back on.
I don't know. Failing that, I'll say a fact.
Yeah, full of them.
Full of them. We're at this is the second to last episode of series 1. We're at the penultimate
craziness
episode. It's all kind of happening. The future is colliding with the present.
It's Days
friends
of Future
are becoming
Past.
enemies. Enemies are becoming friends. It is Days of Future Past. It's part 2 of that. Give us a rundown.
Give us a rundown. Well, we all know Days of Future Past, that famous story where the dystopian future, the future's gone to hell. Sentinels have taken over. The X-Men survivors in the future have sent back Bishop to try and stop the chain of events that lead up to this, beginning with an assassination in Washington. When we last left off, Bishop had come back. He was woozy from the time tunnel, but at the very end, he recognized that Gambit was the assassin that he had to take out. Gets his gun out, points it at Gambit, fires. End episode. Here we are, dropping into episode 2.
That's what happened in the last one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right. We start this one with a bit of a weird one where we so Rogue and Gambit enter at the very end of the last one where the rest of the X-Men are hanging out in the mansion. We backtrack in this one and start with what they've been doing for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
On their way back from visiting Beast.
Yeah, it's a technique we've had from them a couple. We've seen them do this move. The writers do this move before, and I quite like it. They did it in one of the ones where they're flying back from some mission in the Blackbird as well, where they ended at is the one where they come back and the mansion's been destroyed.
Yes, and they backtrack into the Blackbird a little bit.
Yeah, so it's the same thing, and it's a cool move, and it's done even better, I think, in this one, because in that one it just kind of replayed the footage that we'd already seen. In this one, it went back in time, but it changes the point of view, the perspective of the narrative, and we see them kind of coming in to collide with that moment. And I like it. I think it's sophisticated storytelling.
Did you notice that the lines change ever so slightly? And do you think that was an artistic choice?
I think there is an argument for doing it right around because particularly with this one is that the point of view changes, right? Originally, we see the scene through the eyes of the X-Men that are in the room, right? And so we're pretty much seeing everything from Bishop's point of view. He's the person whose story we're kind of following. It's him. Then we see the same thing, but now the narration character is Rogue, right? Like she's the person we're following, and it's her that is the idea that different characters are interpreting reality in different ways, right? And so they do hear things slightly differently, or could just be mechanical error.
Yeah,
the other, like, equally,
maybe they're just rushed, and they're like,
maybe they're just rushed.
The right lines are different.
Yeah, and it's like, but it was a good take, wasn't it? Like, I mean, felt good. Felt everyone feel good.
Yeah, we'll just take it.
Probably We'll just go with it. I think that's small enough that we won't worry too much.
We've given you 2 very different reasons why that could have happened there, folks. 2 minutes into the episode, and we've given you a deep dive into the possible mechanic. Was it a huge artistic choice, or just simple what the fuck?
Yeah. and either I'd believe it.
Yeah. I mean, it's plaguing the 90s children on Saturday mornings.
It certainly is. Of course, I always love a rogue driving sequence in the Malibu Barbie dream car.
Yes.
Which is awesome. This is a scene we've seen before, is Gambit borderline sex pest.
Yeah. Jeez, man. If the X-Men had an HR department, Gambit would just be living in their waiting room.
Yeah, it's like, here we are again.
Mr. LeBeau, it's no joke anymore. You have to stop. Rogue's filed multiple complaints.
I've been out here having to play solitaire by myself. You're
on 2 strikes, Gambit, okay?
Yeah.
One more and you're going to have to leave. I know what I would like to strike 2 more times. Okay, that's it. You're out of here.
Yeah, that's it. It's done. Yeah. Get out.
But he's got the comebacks, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. She goes, don't you ever get tired of hearing yourself talk? No, when I'm talking about you, Cher.
Yeah, I know.
He's smooth. He is
smooth.
He's a slippery one.
I guess, he's a problematic fave.
He's really embodying this, 90s perception of, a lot of romantic comedies or male approaches of just persistence will pay off.
At least he's persistent in, a hot way. I'll go, in a kind of smooth...
charming way? Yeah.
Arguably charming way.
I'm just keep giving you compliments. I'm going to keep giving you compliments. Yeah. Rather than just I'm going to keep hanging out outside your bathroom door.
And being he's suggestive, but he's not grotty, at least.
Yeah. Either way, Mr. LeBeau, you're on strike 2.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I was the defense lawyer there for Gambit. Yeah. It's like, yep, no, we'll take that. We'll take a plea. Yep, we're happy on a plea. Yep, thank you.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
We're taking the plea.
Please ignore my client.
I have a plea for something.
No, you don't. You don't. Shut up.
If I am guilty of anything, I'm simply...
I know, don't say it. Don't say
it. So, Bishop takes a shot at Gambit because he's the assassin. Rogue throws herself in the way because she's an amazing teammate, saves Gambit. And then Bishop shoots Gambit anyway. Luckily, the gun was still on stun because they both just get up and go, why'd you shoot me? You know, for Bishop, for a guy from a hard future and coming back and going, I've got a 1-track mission, I just need to kill this guy. Maybe check the gun. Yeah, maybe set it, because previously, I mean, in the other episode, Cyclops was checking out Gambit's gun and going, well, if this is the weapons of the future, we're all in big trouble, implying that this thing is deadly as fuck.
Yeah. And
they clearly got a lot of settings as well.
It's got a lot of settings. It's got that sight on it that, it detects, a door from the future that got used, 2 hours ago or something.
That's quite the sight, isn't it?
It's quite the sight. And it's got weird glyphs and little symbols around the outside.
It's the new model. It's got a time echo detection.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, eh? Right.
Yeah.
So everyone's there going, what? Could it be Gambit? This is a bit that I felt really sorry for Gambit. So all the confusion. Bishop's like, Gambit's the traitor. And Gambit goes, what? You guys, you don't think I'm the assassin, do you, bud? You guys have got my back? And everyone's like, yeah. And then he says, if nobody for Gambit, then Gambit don't need nobody, and walks out. And I was there going like, come on, someone stop him.
Yeah. Is anyone gonna do something about this? I mean,
if not for his feelings, but logistically, he might be on his way to assassinate someone.
Yeah. Well, as we find out, then he heads out to the hangar. Bishop and Wolverine are there to stop him, and then suddenly everyone is there. It's like they've been hiding. Something happens. So there's a bit of a time gap, but he goes out. It's like everyone's gone, I actually just let him go. Who gives a shit? And then gone, let's go hide in the hangar and see if he goes to the hangar. And then everyone's like,
stealth mode.
Hey, go hide in the hangar. Like all of Professor X as well.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know how hard it is to hide that massive floating orange or yellow wheelchair?
yeah,
The things are like the size of a small car.
yeah,
I will hide myself behind these boxes.
yeah. I'll be over here.
Why are they letting Gambit run off on his own, and let Bishop be one of the first people to find him? They know that Bishop wants to kill him.
But it does feel like there's a genuine suspicion from the rest of the X-Men that it actually maybe is Gambit.
Oh, absolutely. There's suspicion, but also he's still your friend. Maybe try to protect him at least.
I feel like they all kind of gave up on him pretty
So quick.
It's pretty quick, eh?
Maybe there's been like deleted scenes where Gambit's just been hitting on everyone as hard as he's hitting on Rogue, and they're all just like, I'm sick of his shit.
Yeah.
So, Cyclops, one eye, huh? I've got one eye for you. Gambit, get out of here.
Get it. You can't blame me for trying. You go around flaunting those cum gutters.
Oh, shit. There's a bit...
You hussy.
Gambit, how strange to see you in my quarters. I have retired for the evening. Good evening, Professor. Alright, so there is a bit here, this is where we get the payoff and find out actually the events of what happens. And Bishop tells a story of how it starts with the assassination and it leads into this. And we get a nice montage here and we get to see some characters that we have not seen. You get a quick view of Havoc fighting alongside Cyclops. Havoc is Alex Summers, Scott Summers' brother. But we haven't seen him before, so it's really nice to see him in there. We get to see Sunfire, who we've not seen since Genosha.
Yeah, we saw him I recognised him from the he was building the dam or whatever it was, the power plant.
Yes. Yeah. And we get to see a bit of the Morlocks taken out as well. Dan's a big fan of the Morlocks.
Doing a really poor job of like standing by a sewer and getting squashed.
Yeah. In an animation frame that can only be described as rushed.
Yes. Yeah.
I like when they're sitting around and they're really talking about who could the traitor be, and who could the assassin be. And Professor X just leans and goes, perhaps he... No, they're talking about who's going to be assassinated.
Yeah, because there's two mysteries, right? There's two mysteries because they never actually reveal... Like, there's kind of an implication that it's the president, and we see Lady President again in this this montage.
Yeah.
And the giant sentinel boot crushing the American eagle in the floor and whatnot.
I would call it an eagle. It's the most un-American eagle I've ever seen. It looks like a child drew a logo.
Yeah. American pride. There's also a bit of kind of, that kind of, what's that saying? First they came for the anarchists, and then they came for the socialists, and then they came for the Jews, and then they came for me, and there was no one left to stop them. I said nothing.
Write that down,
I was
kids.
Not an anarchist. I was not a socialist. I was not a Jew. I said nothing, and then they came for me. There's this real
put down that bowl of Lucky Charms and let
put
that
it down.
sink in.
Let's think about this, because in this montage it kind of does get revealed that as you were saying, the first they take over the mutants, and then they take the next steps. They're like, we're actually just going to suspend democracy and
the best way for us to control mutants is to control everything.
Yeah, if we control everything.
Prime directive exploding exponentially.
Yeah.
So there's that mystery of who is going to be assassinated, and they're all wondering like, it's Washington. It's going to be there, and Professor X is going to be doing talk there, and he goes, perhaps it's me that's going to be assassinated. But it felt very much as soon as he said it, I felt like going, shut up, Charles, get out of your own ass.
Yeah.
Get out of your own ass, mate. Shut up, Charles. We've got a real mystery here to solve, okay?
Yeah. Am I the hero?
Charles, I'm about to assassinate you, and it's not going to change shit.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Shut up. This is... Maybe I am so important. Maybe the future hinges on my life.
And shame on the X-Men for so recently immediately turning on Gambit when the slightest suspicion was put on him. And shame on them for not all immediately turning on Professor X for just being such a cock.
Yeah, come on, guys. Let's all hide from him.
Yeah, this guy can't. Yeah. Let's hide in the hangar. Let's take off the wheelchair ramps.
He won't be able to get around.
He won't be able to get around. Let's see you get to Washington then.
My wheelchair floats. Fuck. So they decide to split up the team, and this is pretty logical from them. Okay, we're going to send a team to Washington to try and track down, to try and protect people who potential assassination targets. And they go, okay, Gambit, if you're under suspicion, you stay here. Okay, so then you can't be in Washington. You can't be the assassin. That makes sense. Who are we going to leave him with? Let's leave him with the two. One with a guy that is hell-bent on killing him, and second, the most hot-headed, short-tempered member of the team to oversee this. All right?
Yeah.
Wolverine, Gambit, and Bishop. You guys are all staying. And I love that Bishop, even when he's like, we're staying, he goes, yeah, well, if 3 of us are staying, maybe only 2 will make it out at the end of this.
Yeah.
Like, dude, stop threatening to kill him every chance you get.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, maybe you guys should, wait in your rooms rather than playing a high-stakes poker game. Like, if there were ever anything, any kind of shared activity to kind of not bring out the aggression and anger.
All right, we're going to stay here and be real cool, okay? All right, let's gamble.
Yeah.
So we go in Washington, we find out that the Brotherhood is actually behind the assassination attempt. And we know it's the Brotherhood because old mate Pyro shows up. All right, it's me, Pyro again, innit? Yeah. Just caught a flight in, to Washington.
Him and Avalanche poking their head up out of a 3rd-story window like a Punch and Judy show. Where's my sausages?
I don't know, Pyro. Where'd you put your sausages? They just decided, okay, Avalanche is coming back. What do we do? What do we want to do with Avalanche this time? Make him dumber? Yeah. Yes, I love it. Yes. Let's go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's make him stupider. They're actually the one behind it, and we know that because immediately they kind of start using the word assassin. Oh, let's do an assassination. I'm gonna do it. Or we're gonna do some assassinating.
Let's not forget we're here for an assassination.
Yeah, so it's very clear that actually, but there's still confusion.
Did you know? So they're looking down over a protest because there's going to be mutant talks, and the protest mob chant consists of mutants, no. Humans, yes. That's the chant.
Weak. It's so weak. Yeah. If you thought Lock Her Up was bad.
Oh, that's the writer going oh God, I'm so tired. I'm going home. Oh shit, I've got to write a protest chant. Pass me that napkin.
I don't know if you've been following the Writers Guild strikes at the moment, but it's very clear that writers are 100% capable of writing snappy and very funny protest signs for their protests.
Yeah.
So this guy, whoever did this one was was this the 10th night of it's 12 o'clock again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing
maybe
it.
Maybe this chant, this humans yes mission so is an intern's first and last attempt at getting a job at this place.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you want to prove yourself? Come up with a protest chant for the mutants.
Okay. And who's the other side? Humans. Okay. And positive for mutants or for humans?
You got it, Jimmy.
For the humans. God damn it. You're making me... I feel like I'm doing this all myself. No. I'll run with it.
Jimmy, you've had 16 hours. What do you got for me?
A quick question. Mutants bad, right? In this, yes.
You're filling me with confidence, Jimmy. That was so terrible. So, the X-Men get there, and I quite liked it. I always remember this Gambit escaping. Oh, by the way, this is the first time we've seen Bishop's mutant power. So Gambit throws a kinetic card at Bishop. Bishop he can absorb energy and redirect it, which essentially makes him a bit invulnerable, a bit kind of like whatever you give me, I'm gonna nail it back, throw it back at you.
Yeah. And so, is it all energy, or is it only mutant power energy?
Oh, this is where I'm unclear. I think it's kind of like biokinetic energy. I think in the early iterations of the comics, I think he says he can absorb kinetic energy. So it's pretty much any sort of impact,
Right.
or most energies. I know all the X-Men hardcore nerds will be going, dude, it's this. Short answer, it's vague. It's vague for me.
Yeah.
It's probably a short answer, but when the comics need him to, he can absorb a lot.
Yeah, because I couldn't work out if like he was just kind of effectively immune to mutant powers, or if he was kind of like, I mean, being punched is kinetic energy.
Exactly.
You know,
being thrown around. I mean, being stabbed, he's like, I absorb. Oh.
Wish I'd absorbed that a bit quicker. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I've still been stabbed, but my eyes are glowing now. So
those are tears.
yeah. So my power is it illuminates my tears, so you can really tell my emotions.
Yeah. Well, a byproduct is I wear my heart on my sleeve. I thought Gambit did a nice little job here of like placing a charge card on the side to escape. Just letting it like a little timed grenade. Yeah. So he creates the distraction of that during the poker game. Like, all right, we want to keep Gambit here and not let him exploit his powers. Let's play a game of cards.
Let's just put cards everywhere. Just give him real access to that.
Don't look at me. I said noughts and crosses. Yeah. So he escapes and he gets because the X-Men have taken the main Blackbird. Do you notice he kind of gets in this tiny little jet like it's Thunderbird 4?
So I was like, what is this one? If that's the Blackbird, what's it? And I'm like, is this the one? Oh my gosh, is this the Bluebird? Like, it's like just a. It's like
he took the pigeon.
Yeah, I don't. It's the sparrow, right?
Yeah.
And it's so cute though. Like it's this little tiny one, and when it lands, it's like these little wheels come down, and it kind of turns into a roadster.
Yeah. Pretty sweet, huh?
It also looks kind of dumb, but I'm like, let's see more of this. Like, I want more.
Hey,
more
leave the
of this.
Malibu dream car at home.
Exactly. Why aren't you taking this out for, just pizza runs, whatever?
Yeah. So, in an attempt to prove he's not the assassin, Gambit runs to the assassination site. To just place more suspicion on himself.
Yeah.
And we find out it's actually Mystique. Mystique is the person who's behind it all. She shapeshifts into Gambit, and she's going to assassinate Senator Kelly.
So we find out both the who's going to do it and who they're going to do it to.
Yes. At this point, the X-Men and the Brotherhood have a big fight in Washington.
Yeah, big public fight. Stuff goes everywhere. There's this bit where a big chunk of building kind of falls over, and Jean Grey tries to hold it up with her telekinesis, and there's all these civilians underneath it, and half of them kind of get under it, but then
there's a small
she's
child.
like, I can't hold it anymore, and then
what a
Rogue
surprise!
runs
Jean's passed out again because it's all too much for her.
I know, she is a bit of a fainter, isn't she? Like,
how Jean Grey opens the fridge, and if the milk's too light, she faints.
It's like, bring me my swooning couch.
Oh, goddamn. She's a swooner, isn't she?
Yeah. And then Rogue Rogue gets in there and holds it physically while Wolverine scooches in and pulls this kid out from underneath
That's fucking teamwork.
Actually really cool example of, and the same way they capture the Blob as well in the they ice him into the Washington Monument
and freeze his ass in place.
The pool there.
The Blob has done a very good job of making him... He's just, you know what? When you talk about love yourself, the Blob has done a great job because he's a disgusting mess.
Yeah.
His name is literally the Blob.
Yeah. And, I mean, his mutant power is that he is morbidly obese.
Yeah.
But his obesity kind of has a kind of a flubber, bouncy ball kind of man deal to it.
He's got fat roll armor.
But he seems very, and he seems to delight also in, like, doing burps and,
all your typical Blob things.
Yeah, he loves it. But he gets trapped in the ice, and then this building collapses, and it's this great moment where the Wolverine saves this kid, and then is like, the kid's crying, and he's like, "This kid's crying, do something," and he hands it off. Like,
Wolverine's biggest challenge: parenting.
Yeah.
Did you find it a bit weird because the X-Men are just hanging around, kind of patrolling, waiting for to see what's going to go down, and Jubilee just has a nap under a tree.
She has a nap, and like she has a sex dream. She's kind of rolling around a bit, going like, "Gambit, no, Gambit."
I interpreted that as her going, "No, it can't be the assassin. Gambit can't be the assassin."
Yeah.
But you've gone, clearly, our theory's right, and Gambit's been pesting it on to everyone. She's to the point that Jubilee is having nightmares about his advances.
Yeah. She's just like, "No, seriously, no, Gambit. No, Gambit."
Yeah, and Rogue is kind of watching her have this nightmare, just probably going, "Yeah, I get those too.
Yeah, no.
You just gotta ride them out, sugar."
Yeah. But there's a great moment later on when the naughty mutants are running away.
The naughty mutants.
The naughty mutants.
They are the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants,
Sorry.
Dan.
Yeah.
They didn't go through this team-up process and come up with this amazing name to be called the Naughty Mutants.
Well, they shouldn't be so naughty. This wouldn't happen. And they kind of run past, and she just kind of wakes up and it's like, "What? What's going on?" And it's like, "Jubilee, is it any wonder you were the first one to die in the future? You went to sleep. We're on a stakeout."
I got real tired.
I'm a teenager. I got growing pains.
Yeah, I'm tired from all this gum I've been chewing. By the way, for big talks to be happening, a big event to be happening at Washington, D.C., and protest, and suddenly mutants are breaking out, there is zero security at Congress.
Yeah, it seems really easy to get in
There's no
there.
police force, there's no security agents, there's nothing going on there.
Gambit does a flip off a tree through a window, and he's in the Oval Office pretty much.
This guy's asking to be assassinated.
I mean, what was he wearing?
What was he wearing? I'll tell you what he wasn't wearing. Security.
Yeah. No, he wasn't wearing any security.
So come out there, show your vulnerabilities like that.
Yeah. There's a great line where is it Bishop is going in, and someone's like, "Where's he going?" And they're like, "Looks like he's running for Congress."
I totally missed that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Was it Wolverine?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh man, Wolverine's got all the best jokes in this two-parter.
Yeah.
He's running for Congress. Wolverine, we're in the middle of a fucking mission.
Yeah. And he's like, "Come on, don't leave me hanging. High fives all around. Come on."
He's running for Congress. Oh, what a dad joke. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So Senator Kelly is about to be assassinated by Mystique. She leads him into a room, posing as his assistant or secretary or something, only for him to see the real secretary tied up. Mystique turns into Gambit and goes, "Here we go." And then Gambit storms through the door, and I just remember thinking, "Oh, I quite like this Gambit, you absolute..." He's got the good line sometimes. Gambit storms through the door and he goes, "Surprised to see me? I know I am."
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Oh, Gambit, I'll have all the sex pest streams about you, mate.
Yeah, that's worth it for that. Yeah, all right, mate. All right.
For that entrance.
All right, that was pretty good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and Mystique as Gambit is really laying it on thick. she's like, well, it's me, Gambit. Gambit from the X-Men. Gambit from the X-Men Gambit, I'm going to shoot you dead now, because I'm Gambit from the X-Men.
You getting this all, witness?
Yeah, are we getting this? You see me, Gambit from the X-Men.
Yeah. So then they fight, the other X-Men enter, and we have this lovely, like, who's the real Gambit?
Yeah. Again, I love, it's like, it's the Simpsons episode when, who is the real Krusty?
Yeah. Nice work, Krusty. Back when the Simpsons was great.
Yeah.
I did like this. It's very consistent with Bishop's character up until now. That he's just like, oh well, fuck it, I'll just shoot you both.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah.
I hate Gambit. I'll shoot him twice.
I gotta save the future.
Yeah. Then there's this really weird bit where Rogue comes in and is about to take out the imposter, and then she changes into a Mystique, and Mystique says, "You're not going to hurt me because it's me." And we suddenly realize that there's this massive backstory with Rogue and Mystique that goes further back from what happened on Muir Island. Because she changes into like a motherly figure and goes, "Because I'm your mama."
Yeah.
And we suddenly realize that Mystique has raised Rogue in the past when Rogue was a child.
Yeah, something like that.
A pretty big revelation and a lot to lay on at this point.
It is, because it's like a real quick one, and I assume we're meant to believe that it's true. But also, I'm like, she could just be lying. She can just turn into it. Like, she just needs to know that what the lady looked like to be that person. But I feel like the storytelling is that she is that person.
This was the bit of the episode that I was like, this is quite hard to get on board with. It's a lot to take in very quickly. Yeah, because we're all at this point. We found the villain. We found the criminal. They're going to get their justice. You know, we got him. And then Rogue's suddenly like, yeah, I will fly you out of here and let you escape. What?
Yeah. It felt very kind of like Days of Our Lives all of a sudden. Like, X-Men kind of like, I'm your long-lost mother.
Oh my God. I know. Soap opera. In the comics, Mystique did raise Rogue, so that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they'll probably make it canon in the animated series as well. However, it's so strange that this is the first time we've alluded to it. You know, even after everything that happened with the Muir Island saga, even Mystique saying something that this is so weird, you know, or even to be able to say, I will be able to manipulate her. I raised her. Anyway, we also get revealed that Apocalypse is behind this.
Yeah.
That Mystique is working for Apocalypse still.
And that, he has kind of worked out the pivotal nature of this assassination, whatever.
And also in the confusion, Rogue destroys Bishop's temporal transceiver, so he gets thrown back into the future. Yes. And we find that he comes back to the future and nothing's changed. So this was really a bit unsatisfying, because he goes, we changed nothing. The mission technically didn't work. And Ford says, well, we'll keep trying. Don't worry. And they've also got Wolverine's skeleton in a vat. So Wolverine's clearly been taken out. Meanwhile, back in the present, they think, yay, we've saved Senator Cully, but they come into his room and they find he's been taken, and there's magnetic waves in the air because Professor X says, my watch has stopped. It's been magnetized. I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but I have strong suspicions as to who it might have been, who has a grudge against Charles Xavier's watch. And also, he uses magnetic powers.
Juggernaut's back.
I know. Yeah. But that was cool. They do a good job. I guess because the cast of characters is so big, they can do a good job of misdirecting you away from things and being like, it's this, it's this, it's all this, it's this, it's this. And then just being like, hey, you forgot this guy, didn't you? Bam. Yeah. And, yeah.
The old bait and switch.
Bait and switch, yeah.
Yeah. ultimately, I felt this episode, like, I really liked the first half of it until the kind of thing started wrapping up, and then just a bit, like, the whole rogue allying or aiding and abetting Mystique's escape, I found a bit jarring, having to take in that whole, perceived backstory of like, well, for this to be justified, this means all that is true, and that's a big lot of information to take in. Apocalypse is behind all this. Senator Kelly's still gone. The mission technically failed because the future has changed nothing. It felt a little bit unsatisfying for me. How about you?
I think it's a great journey between the two episodes, but I think you're right. It suffers in the last kind of 2 minutes, but it also suffers like in the first. If you remember in the setup at the very top, we had some really rapid advances of the story that if you kind of looked at them more than once, you go, wait, what? With Bishop's turn at the start, there's a real pacing issue at both the start of the storyline and at the end, where there's just so much is kind of jammed in.
Yeah, I think narratively it had to suffer because they're a kids' TV show, and they're like, look, we're going to spend more time on the Brotherhood fighting the X-Men.
Yeah. Oh, you got it. It's always going to go that way because you have to have big X-Men fight, even when it makes kind of no sense. Because that's unfortunately that's what kind of dramatic conflict looks like at breakfast time in the 1990s.
Yeah. In the comics, it was really nice that they do the stories concurrently. So they do the going back in time story, but they also keep cutting to in the future that's still going to hell, and they're still trying to save things and keep the person that keep Kitty Pryde alive while they go through and try and stop the Sentinels. And everyone dies. Everyone just gets munched. But they do save the future.
Right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, what's going to happen next? Will they track it down? Is it Magneto? Do you think it's Magneto? Or you know what? They're throwing it so hard. I'm almost at the point where like, are you guys just trying to make us think it's Magneto and he's being framed somehow? Or is that just too complex? Am I overcomplicating things?
I feel like you might be overcomplicating things, but wouldn't it be cool if it was Charles Xavier assassinating himself?
I will show them how important I am.
I'll show them how important I am.
By the way, Charles Xavier fakes his death a couple of times in the comics, and he's a real dick for doing it.
Yeah.
One time he comes back and goes, I just wanted to see if you guys could handle it without me. Like, fuck you. Get fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
How bored are you, Charles?
I know, right?
We're already called the X-Men. What else do you want, mate?
What else do you want? You
we
can
listen
read
to you. You're
everyone's mind. You know what I'm thinking all the time.
Yeah. I just wanted you guys to want me.
I know. He's got a real kind of Old Testament Abrahamic God kind of vibe,
Yeah.
Where like you have to please him all the time, and he can read your thoughts, and he knows if you've been good or if you've been bad. And he's your mutant Sky Daddy, right?
Mutant Sky Daddy.
Yeah.
I don't want you to call me Professor anymore. I would like you to call me Mutant Sky Daddy.
Does anyone need to write that down?
Forget that. Let me brand that into your minds right now.
Yeah. You won't forget it.
Yeah. To be fair, like if you could read everyone's minds, you would turn into a bit of a prick as well.
Oh yeah, I know. Because every time he does something, someone in the room's like, ugh, and he's like, oh.
I felt that.
I really felt that one.
I heard that, and I heard what you were really thinking behind that little mumble.
Yeah.
Anyway, liking the journey. One more episode in season 1.
One more episode to go, and of course the only way to make sure that you find out what happens at the end of this series, other than watching it on the... No, you can't do that. You have to listen to this podcast. That's the only way to find out the information. And any other option is not valid. And the only way to make sure that you're able to do that, of course, is to subscribe to the podcast, wherever you find it, so that it's in your catcher of choice at the exact moment that it arrives. So it's hot and steaming off the press, ready for you. We'd love it if you rate, review the show wherever you found it. That, of course, helps us to spread the good word to other people. If you have enjoyed the show, then tell a friend who also enjoys this thing. These, the Marvel's very popular these days, I understand. So it's likely you have a friend who's interested in it. Why not let them know about the show?
Yeah, otherwise we have to leave it up to Mutant Sky Daddy.
Yes. And the naughty mutants.
The naughty mutants.
All right, team. Cheers, Harv.
Cheers, bro. See you later.
Bye. Bye. Are podcasts too interesting? Especially if you use them to fall asleep. I'm Dan Bain, and all 4 seasons of my podcast, Sleepy Time Mumbles, are interesting enough to listen to, but not interesting enough to keep you awake. Sleepy Time Mumbles, a podcast you can miss, wherever you get your podcasts.